In the middle of the Third Age, the once great northern kingdom of Arnor splintered into three separate, vulnerable states. This weakness invited the Witch King of Angmar, a terrifying ringwraith who systematically dismantled these successor realms and hunted their people to near extinction. Ordinary swords and arrows simply shattered against the Witch King, an undead sorcerer who walked as a phantom wrapped in steel. Facing total annihilation, the surviving smiths of Arthedain turned to magical engineering to build a highly targeted countermeasure. These were the Barrow-Blades. The smiths folded light steel into leaf-shaped daggers damasked with serpent forms in red and gold. The true power sat in the magic woven directly into the metal, spells of ruin specifically calibrated to harm the Witch King himself. These daggers were highly specialized anti-wraith ordnance. Every hammer strike served a single objective: to pierce the unseen flesh of a Nazgul. Even with this advanced magical engineering, the armies of the north could not hold. By the year 1409, the forces of Angmar invaded in strength, devastating the region and crushing the final organized resistance. When the last prince of Cardolan fell in the fighting, his followers carried his body to the fog-shrouded hills of the Barrow Downs and laid him in a cold stone tomb. Along with his gold and armor, they laid the pristine, unused Barrow-Blades across the prince's chest. They sealed the heavy stone slab, burying the weapons in total darkness. The Witch King had won. The realm was broken, and the only weapons engineered to destroy him were now locked away underground alongside a dead kingdom. Centuries passed. The remaining Dunedain above ground slowly withered, their final population centers wiped out by a great plague in 1636. To ensure the north could never recover, the Witch King dispatched evil spirits into the Downs. These Barrow-wights possessed the bones of the dead, haunting the hills to terrify and slaughter anyone attempting to resettle the land. Inside the prince's tomb, the temperature dropped. The wights brought an icy touch and a suffocating dark magic, yet the damp cold failed to rust the strange steel or tarnish the glowing red runes woven into the blades. This timeline tracks the scale of their hibernation. While the Witch King was rising back to power, building Minas Morgul and leading Sauron's armies, the blades sat dormant. They waited in the dark for over a millennium. By sending his own wraiths to guard the burial mounds, the Witch King unwittingly secured a perfectly undisturbed vault. He effectively preserved the exact weapons designed to kill him. In the year 3018, the seal of the tomb finally broke. 4 hobbits, fleeing the Shire, stumbled into the fog of the Barrow Downs and were dragged underground by a wight. Before the wight could kill them, the mysterious Tom Bombadil heard their cries. He broke the spell with a powerful incantation, tearing open the stone roof to let sunlight pierce the grave for the first time in 1600 years. Searching through the spoils of the dead prince, the 4 hobbits uncovered the pristine daggers from the pile of ancient armor and bones. The heaviest vengeance of the fallen north bypassed the great lords and warriors of the age. It was placed into the hands of the smallest, most unassuming creatures in Middle-earth. Months later, the quiet rolling hills of the Shire were replaced by the deafening chaos of the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. Descending on his massive winged beast, the Witch King shattered the lines of the Rohirrim and crushed King Theoden, projecting an aura of terror that sent entire companies fleeing. Standing over the king's body, the Wraith Lord cornered the shield maiden, Éowyn. Driven by absolute arrogance, he boasted of his invulnerability, declaring that no living man could hinder him. This breakdown shows the turning point. Unnoticed in the confusion, the hobbit Merry Brandybuck crawled behind the Nazgul and thrust his barrow blade into the sinew behind the Wraith's knee, piercing the magical barrier that bound his spirit to physical reality. The 2,000-year-old spell of Arthedain finally triggered. The blade's red runes glowed violently as the magic reacted with the undead flesh, instantly breaking the Witch King's invulnerability and paralyzing him. The Witch King had meticulously prepared for the modern armies of the South, but he had forgotten the specialized hatred of the North. The dagger disintegrated into smoking pieces as the spell consumed it, its ancient purpose finally fulfilled. That momentary distraction gave Éowyn the opening she needed.
She drove her sword into the space where the Wraith's unseen head would be, destroying the Lord of the Nazgul. In that instant, the labor of the ancient smiths of Arthedain proved successful. They did not live to see their work deployed, but their exact engineering specifications were finally met. The Witch King succumbed to a calculated 2,000-year curse, a vengeance from a kingdom he thought he had buried forever.